Hello and welcome to a surprise, another Nintendo podcast. I'm Matt and
this is Danny.
We're here in person, recording kind of a last minute like, hey, the year's ending. We wanted to surprise all of our mini followers and subscribers and fans with something special.
Yeah, a little treat to send you off into the new year.
Well, so what are we going to talk about, Danny?
Oh, we're going to do a quick little wrap-up of mostly the first-party stuff in Nintendo, kind of what it looked like in 2018, what we thought about it, what we're looking forward to in 2019.
That's right, we're going to do it pretty quickly, because we are both about to drive through a few states to head home for the holidays, so... also, we're just going to do this off the cuff. We didn't prepare really all that much for this. Austin's going to be very proud of us. This is kind of off the cuff, so... We're not, we don't have any real prepared notes, but we do kind of know what 2018 looked like. Speaking of 2018, so Nintendo in 2018, wow. Let's see, if we were to give Nintendo a grade for their 2018 releases and just like their year in general, what would you give? Now, before you do, Danny, let's go over 2017. Obviously, the Nintendo Switch launched and... they had what is it? Was it 2016 that they launched? No.
It was March 3rd?
March of 2017.
March 2017.
That's right. They just had their year anniversary this last March.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we got... they were trying to cement their console. So we got, the powerhouse games. We got Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Out the gate, just ready to go.
We had the year, kind of the fiscal year, or calendar year, I should say, ended for them with Odyssey, which is another huge Mario game.
In between, you had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was launched.
Right, which is one of their best-selling
came out in
franchises.
17.
ARMS, that was a good launch title, which sold very well.
Yeah.
And we'll go over some of those numbers. In fact, 2017 was such a strong year that Nintendo upped their projection for what they thought their sales were going to be for
the device, the console itself.
Yeah. And then so much so that at the last investors meeting that they had in the summer, they basically said we're going to sell 20 million units by Q1, I think, of 2019.
Yeah.
And they are very much on track to do that. Danny, speaking of 2017, because some of these games we're going to talk about are kind of from 2017. The top 10 selling games on the Switch console, and this is no surprise, but the top 10 are all Nintendo published
first
games.
party,
Yeah. Keeping in mind there are a lot of great third party content on there. So why don't we go through the numbers, Danny? Here we go. We got them pulled up.
Yeah, so for top selling
Just
Switch
keep on
Nintendo
they're
stuff.
throbbing.
Super Mario Odyssey, right now leading the pack. You got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, surprising second place. That game originally came out on the Wii U. Did okay, but it was on the Wii U, and so the number of Wii U units.
It was one of the best-selling
games
on the Wii U, but oh man, with this much more access to Mario Kart,
the accessibility is much larger for the Switch.
And it was the premier Mario Kart game. Like when it came out on the Wii U, even though nobody had that console, it was fantastic. I played hours of that in grad school. Anyways, so yeah.
Yeah, I still do. It's a holiday staple. I brought my Switch home just to play with the siblings. Breath of the Wild, coming in third place. Still regarded as one of the best, not only sellers, but just critically acclaimed best games of all time, actually.
Game of the year, 2017.
Coming up, you got Splatoon right after that. I know Matt's a huge Splatooner, so he loved that. Splatoon 2.
I love Splatoon.
Yeah, he can't get
trying to keep away the dirty jokes.
Right, there it is. 1-2 Switch. That one, I felt like it was like a good game to sell the console. It was like here's like all the tricks that the Switch can do. Yeah,
it was like their party game build-in, like their failed attempt, I would say, at a recreation of like a.
It was like a pre-Mario Party.
Like a Wii Sports, the way, but it wasn't packaged with it, so it could have probably sold way more had it been packaged. And it's fun, but not pay $50 or $60 for the fun.
Yeah, I think if like that came out like maybe at $20, $15-20, that would have been like, yeah, cool. It's a great party game. A couple bucks, sure.
I went to the Nintendo. I think I mentioned this in the past, but Nintendo invited me to like their Switch premiere event in Chicago, and
Wow.
I went with a friend. And
Press pass.
it was cool. Yeah, it was like. It was very cool, because especially no one had played this console
Did you
yet.
get a badge that had ANP on it? Oh, sorry guys, with ANP, I'm just gonna go front of the line.
I got to try mostly everything, and the first game I tried was 1, 2, 3 Switch.
1, 2,
1, 2
Switch.
Switch.
That's the sequel coming out.
Yeah,
1, 2,
I can't
3
wait for
Switch.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's at 2.64 million copies, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
Next, you got Mario Tennis Aces. I have not played that. Have you?
I have,
You have?
yeah. I think
Okay.
both Austin and I have it. I have another friend that has it, and it's fun. I think it's gotten a few updates that have definitely helped it out. But that was a game from 2018 that's been fun. But I feel like it was just so lost in the shuffle of so many other big game announcements and releases, both on the Switch and on other consoles. So.
Yeah.
Especially when they've got 2 other big multiplayer games that came out this year.
Yeah. I mean that one, I think it was good from what I heard. I didn't play it, as far as a sell for just being out for a couple months. Yeah, 2 million sales so far. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
2 million items, not dollars. Next up, ARMS. That also came out last year. Like I said, 2017. You own it. I've played it a couple times. It was fun. I think
I love it. I love ARMS.
Like, you love it. I still wish, and we talked about this before, I wish that those characters, I know that they're an assist trophy, and I think they're a spirit in Smash.
Springman at least, right?
Right. Yeah. I thought for sure this game was just made to pump more Nintendo first-party players into Smash. Because Nintendo's like, oh, we don't have enough Street Fighter-like characters of our own. Let's make something. So that's what I thought the whole point of ARMS was going to be.
Oh, when that game came out, I mean, it was just like it felt like when Splatoon came out, because Splatoon was like, oh, this looks interesting, and then like this brand new multiplayer IP that like was just super colorful. It just seemed like these characters could just like had always existed in the world of Nintendo.
Yeah.
I am just as disappointed as you are that they're not in Smash in the same way. That for now, who knows? Twintel or Ribbon Girl or who knows could show up, Min Min. But that game is fantastic, and I'm super happy it sold well. There's still events online. They have I forget what they call them, but similar to Splatfest and
Springfest.
Maybe it's Springfest. It is some sort of like monthly challenge.
Nintendo, I'll take 10%.
And you know what? The online in that game worked really well.
Really?
I don't know how we didn't bring this up, but the matchmaking system worked well. It was fun. It was very intuitive. The design was cool, and the games ran really smoothly. I mean, I get there's much more going on in Smash, but like it worked how it should for a game that had some technical movements to it in terms of like, there's I don't know how many hundreds of combinations of like different fists and arms that you could attach. So anyways, ARMS is great.
Yeah, next is Kirby Star Allies. I did not play this.
Austin did.
Austin played it.
I think Austin owns every single game on this list. Probably he probably single-handedly brought all these games to the top 10
to
list.
The forefront, right?
No, it's supposed to have done really well. I mean, it's Kirby in HD, right? I mean,
what more can you ask for?
And it's all his friends, it's all his allies. But that game, I think, was critically, a lot of people's criticisms were that kind of plays itself. It's got a number of different characters that show up and lend you their powers, but basically could just kind of walk through the game for you. And I don't know, I think a lot of people are craving like a not a competitive, but like a more challenging Kirby game.
So other characters gave their powers to Kirby for him to save the world. Weird.
I've
heard that from somewhere.
Oh,
what a great precursor to World of Light.
All right. What
All right, yeah, we're wrapping it up. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which was also a re-release.
2018.
2018
Yeah.
came out. 2018 from the Wii U version.
But
Similar to
4
Mario
years
Kart.
ago, it came out on the Wii U.
Yeah.
So
They added not Chunky, Funky Kong. They added Funky Kong for the re-release.
Chunky Kong. I want to know.
Yeah.
Chunky Kong.
Isn't that a thing? That's a thing from the N64.
There's a Chunky Kong?
I'm pretty sure he was like big and hulky. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was Funky. There was Diddy.
Sound
there
off in the
was,
comments. I don't know of a Chunky Kong.
I'm pretty sure. I remember playing that game. I love that game.
But there's Funky Kong.
Funky Kong, Lanky
Diddy
Kong, Diddy Kong.
There's Lanky Kong?
You don't remember Lanky? Did you play
Oh,
Donkey Kong
there.
64?
I did play. I'm remembering Lanky now.
Okay.
Dixie.
Yeah, because while DK is already like his own like kind of heavyweight, Chunky Kong was like super buff, and he like would probably crush DK.
Okay. I just like the rap. Yeah, bring that back. So Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was developed by Retro, which is one of Nintendo's premier, established developers that works with them. I mean, they're responsible for the Metroid Prime series, and we're still wondering what they're working on for 2019, possibly 2020. They're working on something unknown, though it's been rumored to be a Star Fox Grand Prix racing game.
Oh God!
So I'm excited for that. I think that was like, and from someone who grew up with Diddy Kong Racing, and to have Retro do something with Star Fox as a racing game with multiple players could be so fun. Like to just shoot each other out of the sky and zipping past each other. I don't know. I could see it being really fun.
Yeah, and not to get too far off the tangent, I will still play it, and it sounds fun, and I'll probably love it. I just hope that Star Fox doesn't become this thing where it's like, we'll do a bunch of spin-off stuff with Star Fox. He'll be the Hulk of this universe. Like, he'll hop in other people's movies, but he won't have his own, like, quality game anymore. Because, like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Starlink. I haven't played it yet. But that's not his game per se.
But you can kind of pretend it's his game because the amount of cutscenes and all the the CGI cutscenes in there make it feel like you're watching a Star Fox.
And the live action stuff in that game too looks just great.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is live action.
Maybe that's
I
true.
don't know, Star Fox could be real. So anyway, Donkey Kong. Great game. I've played it. Austin's played it. It's beautiful. When it came out on the Wii U, it was gorgeous, and so to see it kind of updated slightly for the Switch was awesome.
Yeah.
I know a couple. It's very challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but you can kind of. I know they've updated some of the game mechanics and like the modes so you can play a little easier.
And jokes aside, Funky, the whole point of them releasing him was to make it a little easier.
Yeah.
His surfboard helped you survive a couple of the sharp things at the bottom a little bit longer. So yeah, it looks good. I'm just waiting for them to remake Donkey Kong 64. To be honest, that's the only one.
I'm surprised they never made a 3DS appearance because it's where all the 64 games seem to be going. But,
right. Where's that virtual console? Anyways,
and then what's our last one there?
Yeah, wrapping it up is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. However you pronounce it.
So Nintendo published, right? And I've never played this genre. I don't think you have
haven't
either.
played it either. I heard though when I finished Breath of the Wild and I was still just in that haze of like I need to play another game like this. This kept coming up on a bunch of lists of like if you need to scratch that itch after finishing Breath of the Wild, this is very akin to that. Giant open worlds, giant beasts. Apparently the world is the beast. Like you're on a giant monster that's so big it's almost the size of a planet. And then you could see other monsters in the distance.
That's right.
And it's another planet essentially.
It looks really intriguing, and it came out last December during the same time as Odyssey. And most people were picking up Odyssey
overshadowed.
or just before Odyssey. And I remember Nintendo was like, try to download the game beforehand, or like because it was so large.
Yeah.
Now that's a game and a franchise I've always been interested in. I grew up playing a few JRPG style games. I loved the Tales series, so Tales of Symphonia. My first kind of introduction to that genre was Skies of Arcadia, originally on Sega Dreamcast, but with the GameCube.
Whoa, deep cut.
Oh, it was brought to the GameCube, which is where I played it, and I loved that game. and that's kind of how I was introduced to that style of gameplay. However, the stories just never, like, they're always so convoluted and like dramatic, but the visuals and like the battle systems are all really cool and that stuff. You just like, that came out at a time where I was still playing Zelda, and I know you were too. Like, you and I have I've seen, like, Danny spent over 300 hours in that game. I'm about at like 250. It doesn't really give you the like exact number, but
I'm well more than 300 hours on that.
Right. So in 2017 we spent so much time in that game that, like, I haven't finished Odyssey because I'm just starting it, really getting into it now, because I spent so much time in Hyrule, and so there was no way I was going to get to Xenoblade. But glad to see it's on the top 10 list. Now, this top 10 list only shows 8 because it came out prior to Smash Brothers and
the Let's Go, both versions of Pokemon Let's Go.
And so, though it doesn't list the other 2 of the 8 of the top 10 at this time, we can only assume that Smash is probably going to be on this list as is Pokemon. It's been
out 2 weeks, 3 weeks now,
and it's the top selling game on the system. The fastest selling game.
Amazon said, I think it was the top selling game of the year. Amazon said it was their top selling video game of 2018.
Okay.
And they didn't say just Nintendo. They just said the top selling video game on Amazon, which is insane.
So another thing about Nintendo in 2018, right, is they just recently came out with this news that the Switch is now the fastest selling console in this generation. So of the Xbox One, of the PS4.
In the US.
Or
was that worldwide?
I don't know if it's US or worldwide. I actually, there's, Go Nintendo, the gentleman from the YouTube channel Go Nintendo. Great gentleman. He recently, I love his videos.
We know him well. We would like to. We don't really.
Beard, sailor hat. The guy's great. I love his opinions. Go follow him. You probably already do. If you're watching us, right. Chances are you just ran out of
in the YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's a good point. But he recently tweeted, here's another look at how well the Switch is doing. After approximately 16 months, PlayStation 4 has sold 20.2 million units worldwide after 16 months.
So those are worldwide numbers, yeah.
So as for Switch, the system has sold 19.67 million, just barely under it,
bonkers.
in approximately 15 months. The PS4 did this with 2 holiday seasons, while the Switch has gone through 1. So these are sales numbers before
this current holiday season that we're in. Yeah.
So the Switch is doing fantastic. We're gonna probably see it, in its current state, probably for at least another
year.
I would say a year before we get some sort of like
Switch S.
Yeah.
Switch 1.2.
I think Nintendo's gonna capitalize on this, and we're gonna do a separate podcast where we talk about like our ideas and predictions for 2019, and like both for games and the Switch. But for now, Danny.
Yeah.
2018. In terms of playing on the Switch, this is for you as an average Nintendo fan and an average gamer. Like at this point in our lives, I mean, we're older young adults at this point.
Yes, yeah, that's a great way to put it.
After Zelda, what were you spending most of your time on this year?
After Zelda, it's been Mario Kart. I mean, anytime my family or friends are in town, we just crush that.
So basically, 2017's Nintendo games have held you over until now.
At being the super average Nintendo player, ANP, yeah, that's my title for this channel. It's been Mario Kart. I literally only had those 2 games on my console, and then the Hulu app, and recently the YouTube app on my whole device. But whenever my family came into town, we would crush Mario Kart together, and it's great because I thought I unlocked everything. And then like a month or 2 ago, I think, I was home for Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden I got like, you got another vehicle unlock. I'm like, I haven't unlocked anything in like almost a year, and I've played this constantly. And I started getting the gold device because like you've collected that many coins. You get like the gold body of the car. So so that means there's gold wheels and there's gold parachute coming up. I'm like, wow, there's a lot more to keep playing. And I've heard some rumblings that they might do even more DLC for it still. I've heard some maybe more maps.
I would be surprised. I don't actually. I mean, it's a huge game for them. It's probably on 3/4 of the consoles that they've sold.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's. What were the numbers for Mario Kart? Was it even on here? 11 million.
Yeah.
So
just,
not too far off.
Just under 12 million. Yeah.
And look, I have Mario Odyssey with the top song. Anyway, so with that many, there could be more paid DLC potentially.
And
but
they also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say they're done just because they released this edition, which was like hey, you paid all this stuff for the Wii U. Here's the deluxe version of it.
We'll include the Splatoon characters. Right. We'll include everything's unlocked.
But they have updated it for free. Like they have new Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild
Zelda,
Link. Yep.
Or Link, excuse me. And
Master Cycle.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I feel like there were some other things that they've added.
I don't know. It'll come to us.
So lots of Mario Kart for you. Obviously, you were waiting for Smash.
I was waiting for Smash. I was waiting for the Let's Go games. Finances were a little tricky in 2018 for me, so I kind of put Let's Go aside. But things came around, Smash came out, and I've lost my life again to Smash in the past 3 weeks.
And Smash will hold you over till 2020 probably.
They're gonna really milk those 5 characters of DLC. It's probably come out once every 2 months.
Okay.
I'm hoping they decide to do a second DLC pack, because I've heard Sakurai say that this could be the last Smash for 10 years. So I'm like, great. If it's as balanced for the most part, I know they'll do some micro patches here and there.
Right.
For as balanced as a game as this is, for as well done as it's made, it's the cleanest and most polished version of Smash we've ever seen. They could just add out another DLC pack, at the end of 2019 and say, hey, coming next year, we're going to do another 5 characters for $20, $25. They totally could.
I'm not gonna put it past Nintendo, but right now I'm taking them for their word of hey, this will be it. There's 5 more. I think Sakurai wants to just focus on maybe other things, other creative avenues, or letting his team just patch the game and balance the game. Yeah. Let him breathe. Let his wrists recover.
Right. Maybe they'll get some sleep.
Yeah.
Please do not make a game that involves you not sleep. It's not worth your health. But we do appreciate your service.
Thank you, Sakurai. So that's,
and so
I'm not gonna put it past Nintendo. Yeah. I'm not, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get those 5, and they're gonna all be tied into some sort of Switch releases. Mm-hmm. But I think you're right. I think we're not gonna get another Smash
proper
until Nintendo's brand new groundbreaking console comes out, and it'll probably will sell 7 million copies or units, and
first day.
And then 4 years later, Nintendo will come out with another groundbreaking console that actually hits the mainstream again. That's kind of their cycle.
He's predicting the next Wii U.
As long as they stick with the Switch, cycle, or the Switch, this particular form factor of a console, and we don't need to. Let me stop ourselves.
Yeah, now. The two of us easily get off on a tangent about that.
We talk about that all the time.
But 2018, what was your go-to, or a couple go-tos? What was your go-to games?
So played a lot of Splatoon. So seeing the Splatoon 2 Octo expansion, for me, Splatoon had a great story, Splatoon 1, and it carried over into Splatoon 2. The single-player mode was not a half thought or something they just slapped together. It was well designed, beautiful. It felt like Mario Odyssey without the gravity, or the anti-gravity, I guess.
Yeah.
Without gravity, nope, that makes sense.
Without the anti-gravity, so gravity's back on.
It had gravity, whereas
Splatoon.
No. Did I say Mario Odyssey? I meant Mario.
Super Mario.
No, why am I? Come on, everyone. Why am I forgetting this?
It's the end of the year, folks. This is just how gamers wrap up their
Galaxy.
year.
It's Mario Galaxy.
I never played that, so I couldn't even help him out.
Oh my
so that's also
gosh, Danny!
Yeah. I didn't have a Wii or Wii U.
I could. There, I have them right over there. Anyway, so Octo expansion was great. And I continued to play a ton of Splatoon. They've been updating the Splatoon maps, weapons, clothing, and items constantly. They've been changing up a lot. There's several modes in that game now, which have been really fun. They have like a kind of like a zombie mode, but they call it Salmon Run, where basically these evil salmon come out of the murky waters around you, and you and 4 players basically, instead of facing off against another team, you're facing off against these hordes of salmon. You have to get through 3 rounds, and there's different types of things you have to do in each one, and so anyways, they updated a bunch of stages, and they give you 4 weapons to use, but they switch up what those 4 weapons are every couple weeks. So that game's been very fresh, as they would say in Splatoon, and so that's carried me over a lot. I played a lot of indie games this year. SteamWorld Dig 2, that was a 2017 release, but I played it this year. Yeah. I played a good amount of Mario Tennis, but like I said, I quickly lost kind of I was waiting for other things. I was going back to Splatoon or playing Mario Kart or jumping into Odyssey a little bit. Oh, someone got a text message. Let's see. I passed on Captain Toad because I owned Captain Toad on the Wii U, and unlike Austin, I can hold my urges to own everything on the Switch console. I'm sorry, Austin. I love you. You're the best.
Thanks for editing.
I didn't get Octopath Traveler. I played the
Although, could anybody get their hands on that? All I kept reading about was that the developer was not Bethesda. Was that Square Enix, right? Octopath. They're like, we're so sorry we can't make enough copies. they put out an official apology for Octopath.
Well,
I remember.
I've seen a bunch of them at Target now. The hard copies. I mean, it was. You could download it day one, obviously, but that game looked great. Again, it was another like RPG that I was just not willing to put the time in post Zelda.
Yeah.
I was looking for a lot more indie titles. So I played through some more of Shovel Knight. I played through Hollow Knight. What other?
Celeste, Dead Cells.
So I just got Celeste because it was on sale from the Game Awards, so I'm excited. Obviously, Celeste, a huge game in 2018, especially on Switch.
Yeah, really well.
Haven't had a chance to like really dive into that, but Austin was when that was like the big craze, had the game, was playing through it. It's supposed to be very hard, and like platformers are not necessarily my jam, but like the art style and the music and the story were what like made me gravitate toward wanting the game for so long. So that's sitting on my Switch. Firewatch just came out, and I had been waiting for that. I had played it on the PS4, and that's a game I definitely wanted to own on the Switch. So I haven't gotten that yet, though. Anyways, in terms of like more Nintendo first-party titles, I was able to play a ton of Super Mario Party, as you know. Really, like the story of Nintendo's 2018 is just wait till
like the last 4 months,
October, November, December, and that's true. And typically they have a major release every year around that time, but there was no major March, April, May release, right? There was,
especially first party. Indies did super well this year. They really had to carry a lot of the load.
This is definitely the year for, at least, especially post, like, again, I'm going to keep harping back on this. Yeah. Post Odyssey and Zelda, and though I haven't finished Odyssey, there's 12 million people out there that own that game. Clearly there's the market for first-party Nintendo, like, invest like hours of your life and soul into games was pretty saturated at that point. So I feel like this year, like, the Nindies really stepped up, except for Chucklefish. I'm waiting for Wargroove. It's coming out, at least we've been told, Q1 2019, so I'm super excited for that. I passed on Pokemon. I'm waiting for a more traditional RPG Pokemon game next year. Obviously I picked up Smash. We've been talking about that a lot. I think that was kind of the big, like, let's all just like wait for that.
Drop. Yeah. You did download and play Starlink.
I did.
Which is like rides the border of, is that an indie? Is that Nintendo? Because of the Switch exclusive Star Fox stuff.
Not an indie, but like absolutely, definitely a, like, it's like, can you put it in with like a like, huge Nintendo collaboration. We've seen this already with the Rabbids, and now again, like, they've loaned out this property, which I feel Ubisoft did a great job on. I've played it. It's very fun. It's a game, again, that you can sink a ton of time into. I've kind of been, I don't know, I'm the kind of gamer that, like, if I'm going to play a game like that, I'm going to explore everything. I'm going to, like, what's this over here? What's that over there? And unfortunately, there's
a lot to explore.
There's a lot to explore. There's not a ton of stuff in the world, or there's multiple worlds to like really make that as exciting as like a Breath of the Wild or an Odyssey. But it was just the ability to be Star Fox in your Arwing and to No Man's Sky out of the atmosphere, and then run across some bandits and then get into a dogfight. The controls and the flying and dogfighting, once you get a hang of them, are really fun. And like all I can think of is, I don't know if you can do this yet. Maybe you can, but why can't I know you can play split screen co-op,
local co-op.
Yeah, but I would love to play online with someone, or even like have a battle mode to like go at someone. But I don't know. So far my experience with it has been fun. It's been really hard for me to learn the weapon loadouts and like what makes sense in those things.
To preface, he has the digital version. This game was very much made for like the physical, like attach the toys to life. They instantly appear, which looks really cool. But A, it's a lot more expensive to buy everything physical for the toys. And B, it's a little bit more clunky because it was designed that way to digitally be like, oh, I'm going to switch out this wing and this weapon. I haven't even played it. This is just what I've seen like in reviews. But is that kind of what you were getting at?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and you go into like the main menu and like, I was trying to figure out, wait, I'm on the left wing right now. Okay, how do I get to the right wing? Oh wait, that's not what I want over there. How do I switch these? You kind of learn it, and each weapon has like a skill tree that you can kind of like, maybe not like a tree, but it has like slots that you can add bonuses to, and it's just such a deep game, and I don't have time for it. But it's beautiful looking, and there's a whole Star Fox campaign in it. Like basically, quick synopsis is that Wolf happens to be in the Atlas system, right? And that's why the Star Fox team is there, and you're like, Star Fox is basically the Captain America of the Lylat system, and he's like, we're gonna help you, and decided to help out the Starlink team, and in the process they kind of assist with or go on their own little side adventure. So you know what though, man, just seeing that kind of like the Star Fox definitely fits in that world. Seeing the collaboration or just the two like merging, it reminds me of Infinity War. It reminds me of like, why can't, like, it's like the Guardians of the Galaxy show up and it totally makes sense in this universe, right? And the Nintendo universe, I just feel like they could do a game where like Star Fox meets up with Kirby, or they land on Dinosaur Planet and they find Trixie.
He said it.
And it's actually like where Olimar
Soria.
and
You meant Soria, right?
Yeah,
remember they had to do the rebranding.
Yeah, excuse me. But like, it's like one of the Pikmin planets, and
hey, now that we've seen World of Light, that's kind of what
Mario Galaxy Mario can come like, whoa, like, jumping over with his zero gravity. Anyways, I digress. So,
on a side note, check out our other channel, ANP, another Marvel podcast.
That's a good one. If someone takes that name. Let's amp it up.
There it is. There, we got the name.
So 2018 was a year of, I think, for like average fans, average gamers catching up, and waiting for some really good first-party Nintendo content, and if you want, feasting on the number of amazing Nindies that came to the console and that continue to come, obviously, because it sold almost 20 million units before the holidays of 2018. So
just insane. I mean, these are like not iPhone numbers, worldwide, but these are still massive numbers. That's pretty cool.
All right, Danny. We're switching gears a little bit. So that was our ANP roundtable. Now I'm going to kind of close this out with a question.
Ooh.
2019.
Ooh.
We know of several games that are coming in 2019 or beyond that have just been announced. So we know Metroid Prime 4 is in the works. We know Bayonetta 3 is in the works. We know Pikmin 4 is like apparently done and has been done forever, but here we are. We know that Fire Emblem is coming out at some point, potentially, what did they say, like Q2 or 3? And I know they showed us some footage of that. And we know Animal Crossing is confirmed for 2019. Am I missing stuff? I feel like maybe I am.
Well, what will probably be a huge seller, the core Nintendo RPG. The core Pokemon RPG, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, that's right. How can I forget
supposed to be the full-blown... Although from a lot of people I've heard who've played Let's Go, they've said, like, in addition to the Pokemon Go connection stuff, it is a traditional RPG, just like a super traditional one because it's a remake of Yellow. But I think everyone's looking for like that post Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. What's next? Everyone.
Well, they want to see the Pokemon, universe on a Switch console. You know, like like I think seeing the Let's Go format and like visual style for the game, to see that adapted for a true Pokemon RPG would be awesome. Like the visuals of Pokemon Let's Go and like some of the mechanics, like all were really attractive.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a watered down version of a game I want to like spend a lot of time in.
It feels like the beta for what the core one's going to be coming out in 19.
That's a good one.
And just another way for Niantic to be like, and let's keep Pokemon Go alive. Everyone keep don't delete the app. Which is me. I like download and delete it all the time.
Right. So do you have it downloaded now or no?
Currently, I have Go. I haven't played it in a couple months. I think I've just like refused to delete it, knowing that I may get back into it again.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So Pokemon that's what your most anticipated game of 2019.
That, and you know what? Because I was so proven wrong with Breath of the Wild, I had never played a Zelda game properly in my life prior to Breath of the Wild, and I was just so taken aback and enamored by Breath of the Wild. What I've heard about Metroid, if it comes out looking and playing like it should, I know nothing about any of the older Metroid games. That may be another surprise sleeper for me, akin to Breath of the Wild. Like that may be like the
especially if the rumored release of the first 3 come to Switch. Oh, that would be awesome.
That'd be great. Re-release. And I've said the same thing about the Zelda series. I'm like, if they do a re-release of like everything from starting N64 and later, because the older like side-scrolling ones, I'm really not gonna put the effort into. It's just that style of gameplay is just I'm not old enough to appreciate it.
I think if you started with A Link Between Worlds was
that one looked a little trippy, like
it was
awesome. Walls and stuff.
Yeah, I mean A Link Between Worlds, obviously, kind of a different take on A Link to the Past. Both had similar art style. Well, not similar art styles, but a similar visual style of that, like kind of top-down angled look at and colored. Right. It's the same world, but a whole different twist on the game. That remake or adaptation of that game was phenomenal, and I think like that could really get you into maybe that style of Zelda. Otherwise, you definitely got to play Ocarina of Time. Like that, that's the first one you should. That's the first thing you should do. And now you're probably like, well, what do I play? 3DS is a great way to play it.
Just sold mine. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to lend mine too.
Yeah.
Daniel,
the moment they drop Ocarina and Majora's Mask as like an HD remake on the Switch, I'm going to download it because Breath of the Wild has completely converted me for the 3D era of Zelda.
I think you're sooner to get a Skyward Sword, which
I will gladly play.
A phenomenal story, very different gameplay from our current Breath of the Wild. It's much more linear, and it's very it's very kind of like walled off. Like you can't really, obviously you can only go to certain places. It's much a smaller of a game, but the boss fights and the dungeons are fantastic. There's some mechanics in the game that people don't like the 1-to-1 sword stuff. I thought that was fun though. But the story, it's technically the very beginning of
the Zelda universe.
Well, yeah, it's like the origin story of the Master Sword.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my most anticipated games. Clearly, Animal Crossing. Huge Animal Crossing fan from playing the original, at least in the Americas, on the GameCube. I had Wild World on the handheld on DS. I had New Leaf on 3DS, which I poured probably as many hours, or if not more than Zelda. Probably way more. I played that game for like 2.5, 3 years. The terrible City Folk, which was the Wii adaptation, which came with Wii Speak, a way to voice chat with other people, which I bought and used with no one. Because
was it better than the Switch Online app?
I mean, it worked pretty well, and I tested it with a neighbor who then why talk to them when they're across the street?
Yeah, you just put the string in the tin cans. The same.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, also that game didn't see a lot of like innovation, so I'm like really excited for New Leaf. Definitely pushed the franchise forward, but now it's at a point where like in terms of the technology that's here, the form factor of the Switch being a portable and a home system, being an HD console, like the franchise has never been in HD before. The only HD version of Animal Crossing, aside from the board game thing that they made, was there was a channel for Animal Crossing on the Wii U that had the tree from the main town square, and animals would show up just from time to time, and you could kind of like talk to them, and there were all these HD models of all the original characters. It was awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait for Wargroove, obviously. That's an indie, Chucklefish. I'm so excited for that game. It's the Advance Wars we've all been waiting for, though I still would love an Advance Wars and would love to see Andy in Super Smash Bros. As well. Pear, I know you agree with me, Pear Schneider at IGN.
Definitely watching this.
Yeah, probably not. Dear. Probably Animal Crossing, though, most anticipated. I'm excited for Metroid. Definitely excited for Pokemon. I know that's going to be our end of the year. There's going to be so many people that dive back into Pokemon that probably were like me, like, I have a Switch now. I have the nostalgia, but it wasn't enough nostalgia to like
for the Let's Go.
For the Let's Go, it was enough nostalgia to be like, ooh, I want to get back into like a kind of a competitive Pokemon. Like that was really fun, and like, competing against your friends and trying to level up your team like quickly, and then you like playing like, hey, like at the end of the week we're gonna battle, and now you can do it online pretty easily. And I know you could do that on the 3DS hardware pretty easily as well, but like just to do it on your big screen, that's Pokemon Stadium status.
Pokemon Stadium HD remake, please. Pokemon Stadium 2.
We could talk about this more, but I bet you there's going to be a component of that in the new Switch game. Anyways, so any other last thoughts on
last one I'm looking forward to? I totally forgot, and as you kept talking about Animal Crossing, it made me think of Game Freak, the Pokemon developer, is making that weird game called Town.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It looks like a cross between Animal Crossing and like Pokemon,
and like Little King Story, if anyone's ever played that. That was like a Wii or Wii U game.
So it's cool to see Game Freak do something else. I mean, I feel like they've just been like slaving away on Pokemon like their entire like history. So that's cool. And who knows? Maybe it'll be a good game. I'm sure Nintendo's pumping some money into it too. So
And there's a bunch of surprises, I'm sure. Like Reggie always says, like, you know, Nintendo likes to wow and awe their audience, and there's definitely things that haven't been announced that will come out in 2018. There's things that have been announced that aren't going to come out in 2018, and that's okay. Or excuse me, in 2019. And that's okay. We can wait. The Switch is. I mean, this is a golden era
just
of
under
games,
2 years, yeah,
and a golden era for Nintendo right now. I mean, like as a Nintendo fan, to have there's too much content right now, and all of it's good. And though I can't wait for some of these games, like I don't know, I'm tied over.
Totally just forgot about Marvel Alliance. 3 Avengers, Marvel Alliance 3. And now, as a newborn Marvel fan, I'm super excited for that one too. So yeah, it's a good time.
Switch exclusive.
Time to be Nintendo and alive.
Anyway, so yeah, all right, Danny. Well, I hope you have a happy holidays.
You as well.
And
I'll see you in the car in like 20 minutes.
I know. If you listen this long, thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful, happy holiday with family and friends and loved ones. Hopefully, you're getting some time to relax and play a couple of games that maybe are in your backlog or something you really want to spend time in. Maybe you have to unlock a bunch of characters in Smash. Whatever it is, relax, be kind to others, and have a very, very warm and safe holiday and a happy new year. From ANP to you.
See you in 2019.
Bye, everybody.